All right, all right, all right. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up. Your host, David Washington, Joel Davis, JD, and we are going to talk about term limits. Senate Bill 438 proposes term limits for county commissioners barring reelection after 8 consecutive years. Legislators elected before 2024 will be grandfathered in. If passed, counties without term limits must hold referendums. Similar legislation, House Bill 57, is progressing in the House as we speak. So let's go. JD, what say you?
Well, as you know, because we spoke a little bit earlier, David, I'm not a big fan of term limits. I would have been 20 plus years ago,
Sure.
but then I've seen them in effect in different cities and counties that we do business in and around the state, and the outcome has not really been what I would have expected. It doesn't seem to be all that positive an effect because as the elected officials are term limited out, the unelected bureaucrats just stay forever and ever and ever. They end up building up power and they end up basically running things. And so you have people that basically representation without being able to vote for them.
I agree. And with the institutional knowledge that leaves after a particular legislator, the county commissioner, for instance, here in Orange County, after 8 years, it's gone.
That's right.
And so the new person has to, learn, how county government works. And it does slow down the process. It does slow down some progress in regards to just moving projects along in the system.
That's
I
right.
know with County Commissioner Gomez Cordero, when she first came on board, or just before she came on board, we met with her predecessor, Jennifer Thompson. And she sat us down and she said, hey, the first 4 years, she was learning how
That's
to be a county commissioner. And it was difficult. And establishing relationships with staff was
right. Yeah.
very important. And that's not easy in itself. Understanding their role, getting to having that type of relationship where you can pick up the phone and someone will pick up and answer your questions without delay. That's not easy. And then the next 4 years was about really, working with the community,
Mhm.
working with businesses, developers, so forth and so on. And so I like the idea of term limits when voters actually vote and they determine
That's right.
if someone should stay in office or not. But to force this, I can maybe 12 years, maybe. However, I still think that takes away from the responsibility of civic engagement.
That's right. And you, like you had said, we essentially have term limits. They're called elections. And it's not just that institutional knowledge that elected official has within like their organization, but if you take city or county type level people, it's their contacts upstream at the state and maybe even at Washington, and being able to pick up the phone and say, hey, you know, my city or county is having this kind of problem. Can I get some help? How do I do this? How do I do that? And we've all been around long enough. A lot of stuff gets done based on friendships. I mean, it sounds
Right.
kind of bad, but if I have a state senator or representative or someone in Washington I'm friends with, and I call them as a county commissioners, you know, if we're friends, they're likely to try to figure out a way to get me what I'm asking for, assuming it's reasonable. If I'm just calling some guy I've never seen before, he may or may not try to help me. But even then, even if he tries to help me, he's probably not really going out of his way to figure out how to get what I need.
Sure.
And so I worry about that. I think this got generated, well, it is getting generated at the state level. And I think, as bad as it sounds, I think possibly this is coming from the governor's office. He knows he's term limited out pretty quickly. he may or may not realize he kind of shot himself in the foot on the presidential election. And I think, and even if he doesn't think that's true, he has from 2026 to 2028 that he'll be a nobody.
That's correct.
That's all the time in the world for a politician. So he's looking for some place to jump to. And I've heard that he's wanting to run for Senate. And that may or may not be true. And I don't think he could beat either one of the existing senators. But if he term limits him out, he's pushing for term limits, he just coincidentally creates an open slot for himself to run for.
Exactly.
And this legislature they've voted, and they're doing some things to try to encourage the federal government to have term limits. I don't think it'll matter, but and I kind of wonder if maybe that's where this whole thing kind of originates from, and then it kind of flows downstream from that into the county and city levels. But if they're going to have referendums, they could already put term limits on themselves with referendums if they wanted.
In regards to the governor, or particularly the calls for Article 5 constitutional convention, the talk of term limits for Congress, for the Senate, is there, and I'm thinking, what is the issue behind all this? Who's really pushing this, and how it's going to benefit those who are looking to have this put in place? I prefer to leave the Senate and Congress as is. If people want to leave someone in Congress for 30, 40, 50 years, that's on them. If they don't see the progress in their community because they have a congressperson who's been there for years and just hasn't delivered, that's on them. However, it works the other side too. In regards to coming back to the more local level, I see here in Orange County, we have term limits on our county commissioners. However, in Osceola County and also in Seminole County, if I'm not mistaken, there are no term limits for their county commissioners. And I see I see how that works, particularly in Seminole County, and seeing how people seem to come together on a particular issue, and they're firm on it. They're firm on their promises. They deliver on those promises, and they protect those promises to their community.
Right.
When you have a situation here in Orange County, there's issues that are similar to Osceola and also in Seminole, that you see a sense of urgency. We got to get this done. We got to get this done because we don't know who the next county commissioner is going to be. There's a good chance that they will be reelected. However, if they're not and they're termed out, there's this sense of urgency and anxiety about getting legislation passed quickly. And sometimes that's not the best environment of creating legislation and ordinances and so forth.
Right. Well, and a tiny little piece is when they're term limited out, a lot of those people are career politicians that just feel like they have to have some title associated with them. So God forbid they don't get invited to the next free rubber chicken banquet dinner. And a lot of them, if they've been elected for a while, it feels like their whole sense of self-worth becomes tied to that title. And so that where I'm going here is, you'll see that they start job shopping. They may you see that at state level a lot. They'll get term limited out in the state rep, and then they'll run to the Senate, and they'll get term limited out of the Senate, and they'll run back for the state rep side, and they'll go back and forth and back and forth.
We've seen that with now State Senator Geraldine Thompson. We're actually seeing the possibility of State Senator Linda Stewart come back after being termed out, come back and run for her old seat as county commissioner. So
that's right.
Yeah, you're right. Folks kind of get comfortable and with these titles and want to kind of continue it out. I know there's a balance between experience and fresh perspectives and local governance. And that's where, civic engagement is really important. I think there's one thing you can't say here in Orange County. There's a very strong civil engagement advocacy network that stays involved with the Board of County Commissioners.
That's
and
right.
keep fresh ideas coming. And for political side, it does help to build a bench of new leaders, fresh leaders, young leaders. However, like you just said, there's this rotation of politicians who jump from one seat to another, and it kind of sucks the air out of the room.
Yeah. Yeah. They, well, we'll see where it goes. I don't think it's going to get a lot of play at the national level, but state
Yeah.
level, it'll end up getting passed.
Yeah. Yep. And, Seminole County, Osceola County, welcome to the family. Just like here in Orange County, there's some
Yeah.
good people though that should still be reelected over and over again because they do deliver, and you can't walk away from that. So,
Mhm.
final word, JD.
I think that's it on that one.
Excellent. All right. My final word is thank you, JD, again for joining us. I really enjoy this and looking forward to the next time. And to our viewers and listeners, if you enjoy what you hear, if you have any comments, and that's an important thing right there, the comments. If you have something to say about this particular episode or any of our content, please let us know. Comment in the comment section. We want to know what you think. We want to know the facts, not necessarily your feelings, and we will respond as quickly as we can. I enjoy responding to comments to our content. We've been blowing up a lot lately. I really appreciate our new viewers, our new subscribers also. That's really cool. And we want to give, JD a reason to come back, week after week after week after week. So please like, share, hit the notification button across all of our channels. We're everywhere. Don't forget, go to our website, subscribe to the Informer newsletter, check out our blog. We've got so much going on, but we really enjoy the fact that you are part of our community and that we're engaging every week. So we'll see you the next time. Thank you. This is the Jay and Washington Network. Thank you, JD.
See you later. Thank you for having me on again.
Of course.